If you speak to someone who's still under the Q illusion, they believe this is all happening as it's a script, right?
Oh my God, dude!
They're literally they would say that, oh yeah, he's bringing out Tony Blair to put him onto the front stage so we can all see how evil he is. It's like, no, this is not 7D fucking chess. They're all in it together. The money, the fucking connections, the paper trail, it's all there for you to see. It's like, I actually feel it's such a strange thing, because you think of the people who so willingly isolated themselves, so willingly suffocated themselves, so willingly stuffed fucking carcinogenic probes into their brain, and all of the other stuff that went on with COVID. And you looked at that and you were like, wow, how can people be so like completely and utterly trusting in something? And it's the same psychology that's gone on with the Q lot.
Same.
It's fucking frightening, because they're supposedly have much more of a better understanding about the geopolitical arena, and yet they can't see the wood through the trees. Like the obvious, there's such an obvious thing.
You are listening to the Doc Malik podcast. This show is 100% independent and fully funded by listeners like yourself. So if you wish to support Ahmed in all that he is doing, then please subscribe to his channel on Spotify or his Substack, or simply buy him a coffee with a one-off donation, links to which can be found at docmalik.com. Now, let's get on with the show.
Right, first of all, I just want to say thank you for coming. And we have 7 people in the chat already. I have to apologize to all the people who were in at like 10:30, 11 o'clock or whatever. And I was like, I'm sorry, he's running late. But I mean, everything that could go wrong was going wrong for you, right?
Oh, someone doesn't want this conversation to come out today.
Like, what was happening?
Oh, I had a terrible night's sleep last night, because I was in a very cheap hotel in Malaga, right next to a very busy street, which is not ideal. You know, like, bear in mind, I live most of the time, I'm in a valley, which is like you could hear a fucking pin drop. So that wasn't great. And then
you got the EMF, Wi-Fi, 5G, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that works. It doesn't go well with me anymore. You know, I think I pick it up quite quickly. And then I get to the airport, the flight was delayed for 2 hours. And then I get to the hire car, and the hire car's not ready. And then there's another problem. I had to put my fucking luggage in 3 different cars. And I was looking at the geezer, I'm thinking, he's Agent Smith, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
But okay, are you relaxed now?
You don't want me relaxed, dog. I'm not here to be relaxed.
Dude, I loved it.
I'm on fire.
Yeah, I love that. Love that fire and passion. I mean, the thing is, we need that fire and passion, but, you know, it has to be controlled and measured. Respectful. And I loved the rant that you did on Instagram. You know, that's where I found you. And it's just like, you're walking, you're talking, and you're like, if everyone's not talking about this, this is the most important thing. And it is, because digital ID is the linchpin. It's that key to everything. From there, they can track, trace, monitor, control, tell us when we can travel, where we can travel, what we can eat. I mean, it won't happen like that overnight, but it'll happen with one successive crisis after another. They'll say, oh, we can't do that now. It's a slow boiling frog. But the thing is, to get us into that pan, they need the digital ID.
Yeah.
So we need to be talking about this. But we had a chat on Friday about, it's not quite what it seems, is it?
I don't think so. I think it seems too obvious for me. And whenever I get that feeling of sort of, it's just happening too easily. You know, there seems to be no real boundary to it. Like we're all just talking about it. Like, even just to give you an example, I've probably had 7-8 conversations in the last 2 weeks that have been from people who all chose to be vaccinated. All of them have come out and said that there's no way I'm having digital ID. So to me already, that is like an obvious thing that many people, I think that, I mean, listen, that petition, you might as well wipe your arse with it, because no matter how they care.
100%.
But, you know, 2.4 million people have signed it. That's a nice thing to see.
2.6 now.
Is it?
I mean, it's climbing like mental.
It's a nice thing to see. I don't think it's worth anything.
Bingo.
But still, it does show the amount of reaction that digital ID is causing. But then to me, that feeling is like, well, if it's that obvious, there must be something else at play. So I feel that they know Starmer's going to get rejected. They know digital ID under his mandate is going to get rejected. I think they already know that. And I think they're already ahead on the chessboard. And that is why you see Reform, Nigel Farage, getting all cozy with Trump, getting all cozy with with AIPAC and the fucking Israelis, you know.
Have you heard about this guy called Ian Davies?
No, I haven't.
He's the writer on Substack, and he's written a brilliant piece. He's an investigative journalist actually, and now on Substack. But he's a brilliant guy, and he wrote a piece I think last night, and I was a bit pissed off with him because he preempted what you and I were going to say, that this is a psyop. So he wrote an article, it's a great piece about why it's a psyop. And so credit to him, but just between you and me, we were talking about this already on Friday. The thing is, it's too easy, like you said. I remember like COVID. Let's just go back to COVID, right? The last big psyop. Dude, there was a fear porn. There was the behavioral manipulation, the psychology, the coercion, the nudging. Like you could see them. The whole weight of the machinery was forcing us. This time, Keir Starmer just stands up, does his inverted triangle sign thing. Did you see that? Oh, what the fuck? They're all like signaling to their masters, we're obeying. I mean, what the fuck is that all about? And then he goes, it will be mandatory to have digital ID, and if you can't, let me just spell this out one more time. The way
will not work in the UK. He's like a fucking Dalek, isn't he? Like fucking Brian Badonte on steroids, the prick.
The most like horrible way you could announce it. You couldn't be less endearing, right? You just came across as a grade A dick. And then the arguments he gives are complete bullshit. Like, it's going to stop the migrant crisis. And every Tom, Dick, and their Harry and their dog knows that's a load of bullshit. Because right, the people employing the migrants right now don't give a shit if they don't have national insurance.
They don't care about the law.
Right? They don't care about the law. Right? And now suddenly they're going to be like, oh, well, we didn't want your national insurance number before, but now we need your digital ID.
Sorry, you haven't got that app. You can't come in on the boat because you don't have the app.
So 60 million people are just going to get this digital ID because of the migrants. How about you give all the fucking migrants digital ID? Yeah. How about we do total surveillance of all the politicians, right? And give them digital ID.
Just have a look at their fucking hard drives.
Right, exactly. So like what I'm trying to say is like, even the arguments were all just bullshit, crap, and everybody reacted to it. I think that's by design.
Yeah.
The media is like, oh, digital ID is terrible. Boris Johnson's talking about it. Farage is talking about it as if he cares about our freedoms. Remember the same guy who asked for Tony Blair to be the vaccine czar?
Yeah.
Farage said Tony Blair should be the vaccine czar. I want people to listen to that. People who think Farage is your hero, he wanted that living, walking, dead corpse, Tony Blair, who's been pushing digital ID for at least 15, 20 years, to be the vaccine czar. That's our guy.
And he's a multi-millionaire ex-city boy who goes into a pub, has a pint, and everyone thinks he's their best mate.
Isn't he?
I mean, do you know the issue we've got is you've got the Pied Pipers of patriotism, which are like is the Trump, is the Tommy Robinson, is the Farage, and I think that the whole idea of this having this massive breakdown under the Starmer regime is that what will happen is they'll come in with the answer. So it's problem, reaction, solution, but even more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Which is take your hats off to them. Do you know what I mean? This it's very, very, very sophisticated plan that they're lodging.
But that's the thing. Like, these guys aren't dumb shits, right? This digital ID is fucking important to them. Like, nothing is their plans. Their technocratic one world government fucking lockdown is not happening without it, right? So they wouldn't have done this botched thing with Keir Starmer talking like a fucking Dalek with an inverted triangle. Like that's not, like, with no priming. So he is the prime. And they always have multiple gains. So what are the gains? So one, they prime us for digital ID. We reject it, and then they'll bring it back another way. And secondly, it's to push us away from Labour, controlled demolition, and then they will bring forward Farage or some other fake right person. And when that fake right person, Farage, goes, oh, I rejected the BRIC card because I believe in our freedoms, but you know what? Now that we've had this World War III cyber attack, false flag, or whatever the fuck it is, you know what? For security, we need this. It's not a digital ID. It's a something. And all your people who love Farage will be like, oh yeah, well, Farage is saying it. I mean, he's telling us over a pint. Well, we'll fucking sign up to it.
But this is the problem. They're playing on people's. They're playing on the awakening. That's the thing, right? They know that people are waking up to the shit, and the reason we're awakening is like, you could say that we're in the age of information, so everyone should know what's going on because it's available and accessible to everyone. But also, I think energetically on our planet, there's something very, very interesting happening in terms of the energy and what's available to us and what our bodies can take now. So I think that by default, whether we know it or not, whether it's conscious or not, we are all going through some kind of, let's say very loosely, ascension, you know, like we're going into a higher level of consciousness, and they know that. So they're bringing in all of these Pied Pipers to be able to take that off and steer everyone down the wrong path again.
Yes.
And my concern is that you get people who get to that point where they're sort of like, yeah, I get it. They're all fucking nonsense. They're all fucking on the take. Everything's a racket. Everything's like designed to make you fail. Everything is set up to make them rich and put money in private pockets and take it out of the public. Everything. But then all of a sudden you now believe it because you're agreeing with something Trump says. You agree with a single issue that Tommy Robinson talks about. The only thing I can say about these people is this is my acid test for them, is that look what they talk about with Palestine and Israel. And listen, I know it's a complicated discussion, and I don't want to get into it because I don't really understand the history too well. But what I know, even if I zoom out, I've got my feelings in my heart that I know what I believe is right and wrong. But if you imagine you're standing up there as a public servant, right, as a politician, and you've got no empathy whatsoever, no compassion whatsoever, is that your leader? Like, even if you agree with him, and even if you agree that Israel is a fucking holy land and it's theirs to be given and they're the chosen people, you still want to hear that rhetoric coming out of a fucking leader's mouth that fuck Palestine, fuck them, fuck the dying children. I mean, please, like, there's not one element, not one tiny fragment of compassion and empathy in that. That just goes to show me that the world's become desensitized to violence. And it's because of these fucking warmongers and because of social media that you can watch. We had to go right out of our way to watch snuff films when I was in my teenage years, you know, right out of our way. And now you can watch people have their heads blown off and everything on any social media platform you like.
It's sickening. Johnny Vedmore said this beautifully, and I agree with everything he said. Johnny Vedmore was like, my mum brought me up real and proper, you know? There was no way that violence against baby killing was all right. But then now I'm having to argue with people, lots of people, who think baby killing is all right. Yeah. Because Hamas is behind there. Or, do you know what? Like, no. There's no buts, ifs, maybes. There's never any justification for killing babies. Like,
there's no justification for any kind of unwarranted violence. The only way that I know I can kill is if I'm defending myself or my family or my loved ones. Then I'm a Rottweiler.
Absolutely.
But anyone who goes out of their way to premeditated kill someone, they're fucked. They've got something wrong with their heads. They have, you know, they're lacking that empathy and compassion that we should all have, that we've all got as an innate gift inside of us, which is incredibly powerful, for some way that's been parked up somewhere.
They're lacking humanity.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I just want to say, the divine in me, right, recognizes the divine in you.
Oh, stop it, Doc. You're going to make me cry.
No, I mean it. You know, someplace, you know, we're all together. We're all part of the same thing, the same origin. We all have the divine spark in us. Yeah, and they don't realize that. They think that they are divine and everyone else is subhuman or cattle or whatever. But listen, I want to quickly talk about something. The Trinity, and I don't mean like the Trinity. I mean like Trump, Ellison, and Blair. What have these three got in common, you might ask me? You might say, well, that's a funny one. Well, you talked about Trump for a second. So a lot of people have put their hopes in Trump. Some people might remember that this guy, Ellison, was with him. What's his first name again?
Larry.
Larry Ellison, right?
If you don't know who that is, people, you need to look into him because he's one
creepy guy. So he's the guy behind Oracle, right? Oracle's this big tech company that funded and supported and built China's digital security apparatus. Yes, folks, Oracle, an American big tech company or a globalist big tech company, created what you now look at as a dystopian China. Yeah, that same Larry was in Trump's Oval Office, like within a few days of his inauguration, signing a $500 billion AI deal. Do you remember that one?
Yep.
That same character. That same Larry Ellison, let me just get the figures right. Dude, the second richest man donated or pledged a staggering $257 million pounds to the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. Let me just say that again. 257 million. And I'm not talking about over 15, 20 years. I'm talking about like 3-4 years. Dude, just think about what you could do with £257 million. And he's given it to this Institute for Global Change. Remember, this is an institute that does nothing but make PowerPoint chats, PDFs, brochures, and talk shit, right? So he's given $250 million to this guy, Tony Blair, this Walking Dead corpse guy, right? He's also funded the Ellison Institute of Technology at a research centre in Oxford, which, you know, and he happens to be this tech giant Oracle chairman guy. And he's now currently holding £700 million worth of IT deals with 4 Whitehall departments. And now they might be the ones who are behind the digital ID, you know, signing it up, right? And Tony Blair, the guy that's received this money, met privately with the business secretary, Peter Kyle, last year, who, you know, consulting him on the Technology Institute. And Oracle and the Ellison Institute of Technology have met ministers and senior officials 29 times in just the last 9 months. Oh. How many times do you get to meet politicians and ministers and all that kind of stuff? Do you ever get a chance to meet them face to face? So that money,
thank God.
The question is, what is Ellison really paying that £257 million for? You think it's because he likes Tony Blair? Do you think he cares? I would say it's an investment. And for that investment, he wants a return. Data. So Trump, Ellison, close buddies. Ellison, Tony Blair, close buddies. Now Trump is saying that he wants
Blair to be the guy who takes over Gaza. Is that right?
Is that not neo-colonial, racist? What the fuck? What, the local people can't look after themselves? You need to impose a guy, Tony Blair, to govern Gaza? What the fuck is going on?
Do you know what the issue is though, right? Is that if you speak to someone who's still down the queue under the queue illusion, they believe this is all happening as it's a script, right?
Oh my God, dude!
They're literally they would say that, oh yeah, he's bringing out Tony Blair to put him onto the front stage so we can all see how evil he is. It's like, no, this is not 7D fucking chess. They're all in it together. The money, the fucking connections, the paper trail, it's all there for you to see. It's like, I actually feel it's such a strange thing, because you think of the people who so willingly isolated themselves, so willingly suffocated themselves, so willingly stuffed fucking carcinogenic probes into their brain, and all of the other stuff that went on with COVID. And you looked at that and you were like, wow, how can people be so like completely and utterly trusting in something? And it's the same psychology that's gone on with the Q lot.
Same.
It's fucking frightening, because they're supposedly have much more of a better understanding about the geopolitical arena, and yet they can't see the wood through the trees. Like there's such an obvious thing.
Mate, 100%. So while you're talking, I was just quickly pulling up a picture of Tony Blair shaking Ellison's hand, like from 20 years ago. I mean, they're best buddies.
Yeah.
You can look it up. Google, I'm just sharing the screen right now. You know, you can just Google Ellison and Blair, and mate, they are tight. And it's basically, look, I will give you money and support you, and in return, you scratch my back and you help me introduce me to contacts and positions of power and get me those nice juicy contract deals. Like, it's Bill Gates. Bill Gates didn't give money to, you know, all these places like, hi everybody, I'm just going to talk about my consultation service. Many of you already know about it, but just in case some of you don't, I'm offering these online. If you're not sure about what steps to take with your health, if you're facing surgery and you're confused about meds or struggling with a diagnosis, this is where I can help you. I offer consultations to educate and empower you, showing you how the system works from within and how to pick the right doctor, what questions to ask, and most importantly, how to get the best out of every medical encounter. Take Lucy, for example, who came to me for advice on a revision rhinoplasty. Dr. Malik was fantastic, prepared, transparent, and honest. He highlighted important risks and gave me valuable points to think about. A breath of fresh air. This is just one of many reviews which you can see on my website. I've helped people with everything from joint replacements, autoimmune conditions, heart problems, weight loss, addiction treatment, and decisions about vaccines, just to name a few. With years of experience as a consultant surgeon in the NHS and the private sector, I know how the system works inside out. My role is simple: to be your advocate, guide, and ally in getting the best care possible. So folks, if this resonates with you, if you're feeling like you're in a dead end, don't know how to move forward, or suddenly got a medical issue that you just want help with, book a consultation today. www.docmalik.setmore.com. Just type in docmalik.setmore.com or visit my website docmalik.com and you'll find the consultation section and then you can book from there. Folks, I hope I can help you. It's been an absolute joy being able to help patients again, and I'm really glad I've found this little niche area now where I can still use some of the wisdom and knowledge that I've accrued, not just through the years as a medical doctor, but even more recently through the hundreds of podcasts that I've recorded. Okay, folks, back to the podcast. Enjoy. So I think I might have just stopped the recording short for 2 minutes there. But yeah, just say that bit about the FEMA camp again.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the point where they're going to get to, I think people who still believe that anyone in the public arena, and when I'm talking about the public arena, I'm talking about people with incredibly large platforms that are obviously put into that, they've been placed in that position to steer a certain narrative, which is all nefarious, which is all about one world government. And the idea that Trump is doing this for the people as a person who is representing us to be able to drag these demons into the spotlight so that we can see that all the evil going on in the world. I mean, we already see it. You know, I honestly pray and wish that I was wrong. I wish I was wrong. I wish that I didn't know all the stuff that I knew and knew it to be fact. Because it's not just sitting there and watching one conspiracy video and smoking a joint and going, oh yeah, they're all lizards and they're all reptiles and they're all paedophiles. It's actually a paper trail. It's evidence, like real data evidence that goes along and backs all of this up. And I wish I was wrong. I truly, truly wish I was wrong, but I'm not. How
do we break the dissonance amongst the people? Because I think this is the most important thing. Like, we are giving too much of our power away. I mean, before you came, because I had a bit of time, I did a video about this. And I'll just read out some of the stuff I said. Sorry if it's a bit long. But basically, and you know, and then go hard after that. But basically I said, look, Reform Party is not the answer. Trump is not the answer. You know, it might be hard to accept, but they're part of the problem. They're just a branch of the uni-party system. Politics is just a Punch and Judy show. Every politician is an actor. Every change of government is just a costume change. All right? Rishi Sunak handed the baton to Keir Starmer, who will pass it to Nigel Farage. The politicians come and go, but isn't it funny how the policies stay the same?
Yep.
Right? So they've pushed this woke left agenda straight into the arms of the fake conservative right, because they're all central, they're all centrist, they're all Marxist. They never want us to have real choice, so they provide the opposition to maintain the illusion of choice and democracy. But every party, every leader, every media outlet is, funnily enough, signed up to Agenda 2030. They never talk about that. And the mainstream press and influencers and even much of the so-called alternative space are slowly nudging us, like they did towards Trump, now nudging us towards Reform and Nigel Farage. And this is the key thing. If you think, right, the problem ends and begins with migrants and drag queens and wokeism, you're just scratching the surface. The real existential threat to our freedoms comes from the Israeli and Zionist lobby, from Palantir, Oracle, Digital IDs, BlackRock, Peter Thiel, Bill Gates, technocrats, and their surveillance system. And the moment you give your power away to any politician or supposed savior, you give your power away. So don't freaking give your power away. And I don't know. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, for me, it's something I've been talking about from the beginning of when I first started making videos for social media, which was always the underlying thread in all of them was always about self-empowerment. Because it's such a, I mean, people write this off and they call it woo-woo, or they just think that it's not got any real weight behind it. But the reason truly that my discernment and intuition is so on point is because I love myself. Right? And I don't love myself in a way that is superficial arrogance or...
Dude, if I looked like you, I would love myself.
I look like fucking Billy Connolly.
No, you're great. Keep going.
And I feel that that to me is so key. It's so key, because feel like I have never looking for someone outside of myself for the answers. I love talking to people. I love having conversations, heated debates and everything, like as long as it's all respectful and controlled. But ultimately, that I come back to myself all the time and I'm like, I'm the one with my answers. Yeah, maybe my answers are different to yours, but ultimately I'm not looking for any kind of external validation. And that's what they prey on. They prey on that everyone fucking hates themselves. And that's the key, right? That is the key. Trying to get people to start to realise that they got to turn all of that stuff, all that distraction, all that noise, all that focus, attention that's out there, turn it all back in and start dealing with this shadow that is fucking controlling your life, which they, through their wonderful, sophisticated technology, have biohacked into that shadow. They create that slave self within man. And that fucking man then is just running around wanting to consume and stay in fear and fucking feed himself and drink and sniff and fucking distract, gambling, football, fucking anything, sex, porn, the lot. They've got it all there ready for you because you haven't got to look at yourself then. Don't ever look at yourself because that's the fucking answer. And this is what pisses me off a little bit, right? It frustrates me to fucking, like you wouldn't believe. I do a post, a meme, or a video where I'm fucking irate and I'm ranting about the system and I get millions of views, fucking thousands of shares. I launch a podcast or I do a video or I launch a workshop about healing yourself and no one's fucking interested. Simply because no one wants to look inside themselves. They don't want to because that's the real work. That's the hard work. That's the stuff that no one wants to do. They don't want to sit in silence and go, who am I? Who the fuck am I in all of this? And the more people who do it, the more people you all of a sudden you start to realise that you've got a calling inside you. You've got skills. You've got a unique set of fucking instructions that are ready to come out and take your part in this fucking big dilemma we face. And the more everyone does it, you've done it, and look what you're doing. I've done it, look what I'm doing. Everyone's got it. We're not fucking special. Do you know what I mean? We're super ordinary.
100%.
So how do you get people to do that, though? How do you say, listen, just for fuck's sake, stop looking out there. Stop looking at the people out there who are giving you synthetic answers. They're giving you another scripted reply. How do we get people to just say, do you know what? What I want to do now is I want to figure myself out. And the funny thing is that if you really zoom out, we're all just energy, right? We're just vibration. Yeah, and I don't mean it just to do it in injustice, but that's what we are fundamentally. We're energy. So if we can change our own energy, our own orb, that has a ripple effect.
Mate, if you want, seriously, like this book, I had this guest on my show, Randy Lee, the Mitochondriac Manifesto. What you just said about energy frequency, he explains that all in the scientific, like it's there.
It's
like,
there.
I'm not smart enough to regurgitate the science behind it. Like,
I can't even read the fucking title.
the Mitochondriac Manifesto. Like seriously, there is science behind everything you just said. We are light, energy, frequency, vibration, the whole shabam, and you create that energy and frequency. Like honestly, our thoughts and perceptions can change the physical reality. And I don't mean like, put gold coins in my hand and suddenly it's there.
No.
But like slowly, you can nudge and you can start to create things. So I was having this chat with a friend of mine who's, used to work in the city. He's lost his job. He's worked for a couple of people, but it was really crappy. They were startups and never paid him anything. It was all shares. He's worked like a dog for them and then never got anything in return. And now he's just like, he's got a little bit of money in savings, but all he does is play sports and complains about life. And I'm like, all you do is run away from your problems. You're so busy playing your sports every single day. Like you don't want to face the reality that life is difficult. And actually what you need to do is take a leap. People are too scared to take a leap and a chance and a risk, like, into the unknown. He's clinging on to just the comfort of being out of work, playing lots of sports, not being like seriously uncomfortable. He can still feed himself and his family, but he's not doing well.
No.
But he's happy in that little bit of comfort. And it's harder to say, no, you know what? I'm going to face myself inward. I haven't worked for years. What can I do? How can I get out of this rut? How can I reinvent myself? All this is hard.
Of course.
And I said this. I said, you're so busy in occupying yourself. It's because you're running away from doing the work. And he just nodded and went, yeah, you're probably right. I'm not probably right. I am right. And I think that's what you're talking about even now in the world today. People want to say, oh, you know what, Fry's just saying the right thing. Oh, Tommy's doing it. Tommy's great. Like he's saying all the right things. Well, I'm just going to, it's all sorted. Everything's sorted. I don't need to do anything.
Well, I mean, you look at that march, yeah? I mean, that brought tears to my eyes, that did, seeing all those people there. Because, like, I'm not every single one of those person. I don't know who they are. They look like normal, real people to me that have just had enough of the situation, and maybe they can't articulate it and express it in a way that makes sense. So they've got this fucking the Pied Piper, and he's standing there and he's making sense for them, and that's like enough for them to go, oh yeah, that's what it is. When it's not that. That feeling deep inside of all of us is we've got no meaning. Life's got no fucking meaning. It's become this superficial, robotic existence for everyone, where people think that living is that you get up in the morning and you spend all your day with people you probably despise, away from the people you fucking love and adore, and you don't get to see them. And then you come back and you're so tired that you're just in this rut, and you just come back, eat food really quickly, shove it in your face, a bit more distraction on the TV, jump into bed, bang, day starts again tomorrow. Truman Show over and over again. And then you might get 2 or 3 weeks if you're lucky to have an holiday if you can afford it. That's not living.
It's not living.
That's not it. Like we're here to be this beautiful explosion of creativity and expression of love, you know. And what we're doing is like digging our own fucking graves all the time because we're too busy distracting ourselves from what we're really here to do. And what we're here to do is to repair our world. Across the board, yeah? It's not just about us, it's about the natural world, it's about animals, it's about everything that we do is inverted in this world. It's completely and utterly inverted. And it's up to us to take responsibility for that and responsibility for our part in that and turn it round again.
How'd you do that? No, seriously, how'd you do that? Because listen, Danny, there's people who are struggling. Things are fucking expensive, man. And like someone was telling me, they were looking at the numbers. We are worse off financially than we were in 2008. People are poorer now than before that crash in 2008.
What are you going to say, like in 4 AD?
And the metrics are not good. It's bad. And I think part of the reason, like the economy, the financial system is like this zombie. It's like this dead man walking. It's the life support's been unplugged and replugged, and like they just keep it going. All the machines are trying to inject adrenaline in, this quantitative easing, because the people at the top have created this money system where they fucking plunder us, and we're just this wage slave. But it's getting to the point where it's so ridiculous, it's about to implode. And like everything, they're going to make sure they implode it when they're ready, and they position themselves so that they will always be on top.
Hunger Games.
All of us fucking fall out at the end. We suffer, even though it's not our fault. We never created this financial matrix fucking dystopian nightmare shit. Fiat money based out of nothing.
Fucking pyramid scheme.
And the scammers are going to be fucking on top afterwards, and they're going to blame it on us like they fucking always do, right? So that's what's happening. That's why everything we see in the world today is what it is. But your little wee Johnny and Mary are struggling to pay the bills and support. You know, inflation's going through the roof. Like I said, the financial situation is awful, and they're lying to us. They're lying to us how bad it is. But everyone can feel it. Everyone can feel the pinch. Every fucking day I get someone saying, listen, I can't afford the subscription. Like my subscribers has been dropping like crazy. And it's because people can't fucking afford it, right? And then it's like, how do they fight back? What are the solutions? I mean, they hear you say, oh, you need to look deep inside yourself. You know, they might just say, well, fuck off. You know, they're on the tube, coming home after working with people they hate, the boss they don't like, to get home, to eat some shitty food in front of shitty TV, absolutely knackered, go back to sleep. And then someone like you and me comes along and says, look, you need to look inside yourself and make yourself a better human being and elevate yourself. They'll be like, fuck off.
Yeah,
like, literally, fuck off.
I get it. But one way or the other, it doesn't matter if they want to do that now, they're going to have to do that. That's the end game, right? Sooner or later, we are all going to have to stand up. Yeah, we're all going to have to. Or we face what is going to be a technocratic human enslavement. So for me, it's like, I'm not the guy, people say to me, what should we do, Danny? First and foremost, like, that's not for me to answer. Right? I've positioned myself as best as I can, you know, for me. And of course, my situation is unique to my situation and vice versa. But the thing for me is, I'm not the guy who's going to sit there and give you a strategy, right? I'm not an academic. I'm not a guy who sits there and tries to work out stuff. I get a feeling, yeah? What I do know is that all of the people's worries about, oh yeah, but what about that? If I say no to digital ID, I lose my job and I lose my house and stuff like that. All of those things are a hypothetical fear lined up in the future. If we all just en masse said, no, we're not playing that fucking game anymore, it's over.
Bingo.
And what I think is that if more of us get in line with that way of thinking, it's just like, okay, I'm not going to worry about what my neighbours are doing. I'm just going to do what I know is right inside of me. And so we all feel that now. We all feel that do you know what? This government overreach is on meth. Yeah, this is crazy. You know, it's government overreach on crystal meth, literally. So all of us can feel that that's wrong. Yeah, all of us can feel that's unjust. So it's literally about just saying, do you know what? No. Okay, that power of that word, no. And then all the things that you're worried about, yeah, there's going to be solutions that come up, right? Because if everyone just started saying no together, then what happens then? We're unified. That's what they don't want. They want us all fighting amongst each other. You're Islamic, you're Muslim, you're Catholic, you're Christian, you're fucking right, you're left, you're gay, you're straight, you're old, you're poor, you're rich. I mean, it's just completely and utterly controlled demolition through divide and conquer. So if we all just said no, all of a sudden we've taken on a unified front. And then what happens? People look around and they're going to see people struggling in their community. The communities will come together. They'll rally. That's what people forget. We've been doing this forever. This is who we are. You know, they will rally. People will help each other. Trust me. People are inherently beautiful in their hearts. And the reason we've been pulled away from that is because we're too busy locked into our minds trying to analyse, evaluate all this fucking political spectrum, which is all bollocks, by the way. Like you said to begin with, it's Punch and Judy. If we all go back into our heart, we start to look around us and we realise that people are inherently good. Our design, our divine design is good. It's love.
Except for the psychopaths.
Except for the psychopaths, but they're going to get theirs, you know?
I always said, you know, I agree with everything you just said. I did a tweet, I think like 2 years ago. I said, you know, the world's problems would end once we develop a psychopathic mitigation system. Yeah. How do we deal with the psychopaths? Like seriously.
One of those tests, doing on the, we've got to like, do this test to see like who's a psychopath and who's not.
Yeah, every psychopath just goes to an island. We just send them off to an island with all the other psychopaths. Yeah. Wouldn't that be interesting? But listen, I mean, I agree. So I wanted to get this guy on about national and natural law and constitutional law. Like, people don't realize the laws that we have that protect us in this country, the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights, 1668 or whatever it is. You can find it. I need to write a Substack post on it. And this guy's all into it. And it's so important because we've gone from a position where you have God or the authority, then us, then the politicians, then the agents, to flip it. The agents, the civil servants, the deep state, the whatever, the politicians, us, and then God. Like you said, everything's inverted.
It's inverted, yeah.
And I really wanted him to come on. And I wrote, he writes 1 or 2 pieces in Substack. He's commenting on my posts wherever I saw it. And I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to expose him.
I don't want to plug him.
I don't.
He might not want to be plugged.
No, I'll tell you why.
He's sitting there with a fucking red dot on his head in his lounge.
No. I'm just really disappointed in him.
Oh.
So he's got a Substack where he says, I want to educate people about this stuff. He comments on everything I put on X and this. So I reached out to him and said, look, you make a great guest. What you've got to say is so important. This is what he responds. In all honesty, Doc, I'm not interested in appearing on anyone's podcast. Why? Because there's too much chit-chat instead of the individual, deep, introspective work that is required to truly understand and know the truth. All the knowledge required to end human slavery is out there, but is predominantly ignored, even by the freedom movement themselves, creating a perpetual loop of zero progress. I would prefer to invite you to attend the following 2 presentations so that you can garner yourself with knowledge, so that you can use your platform to educate others. That's what I'm about, educating and encouraging others to educate. That's the only way to ever create the quantum shift required to make a difference. Raise consciousness through education. I was like, fucking hell, man. That's a cop-out. Come on my fucking show.
It's a cop-out, yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah. You can't say you're all about educating. I'm giving you the chance to reach out. Tens of thousands of fucking people. Like, you got literally 200 people on your Substack. Here I am giving you a fucking platform. Even if it gets to, like, just say 10,000 people and they learn the knowledge and go, wow, fucking, that's more than you're ever going to achieve in the next 2-3 years the way your current exposure is. And he just copped out. I said, look, do it behind an alias. Have the camera off. Because it's not that. I just don't want to do it. Like, this is what I mean. People need to step up.
Yeah.
Step up. Because I don't do monologues. I have people here like you. Like, we have conversations. Maybe people don't want to hear me chat.
No, but the thing is as well is that, like, through that, like, I know, like I said to you, like, I left school at 14, right? I'm not educated. I ain't got I'm not a studious kind of guy. I don't sit there and try to, like, work everything out and give people like strategy on how they can break out of systems and stuff. I barely understand all the straw man stuff myself completely. It's a very, very in-depth dive you need to take into that. But what I'm saying, like, so because I'm not educating people on that matter, then I've got no value. Of course, that's a load of bollocks, because the value is in igniting people to feel differently, to get them to feel something in their heart, to come alive and go, yeah, that is fucking wrong. And then from that space, people then start to go off down different avenues, and then they come across what I think he's talking about, which is sovereignty. But it's a process, isn't it? Not everyone's just going to. A lot of people don't even know that it fucking exists. So he's the guy who needs to come on and explain to people what's available to them, because how the fuck would they know?
Exactly.
Because
because for centuries, we've been kept in the dark. The truth has been hidden from us. We've been made to forget who we are. So, yeah, man, come and educate. I mean, you can fucking say you want to educate, and then you don't. And can I be honest with you? I love the fact you're rough. You're a rough cut diamond. You're like me, right? I pronounce things wrong. My grammar's all over the fucking place. I've got typos all over my Substack writings. Like, I'm not polished. You're not polished. If you were...
Excuse me?
You wouldn't be in my studio. You know, I'm being serious. Like, I'm a bit nervous about people who come across really fucking smooth Teflon.
Yeah.
You know, it's just too much. And the fact is, you're just who you are. And you don't worry about saying things the way you do and maybe not getting things 100% right, or using big fancy words, because you're just authentic. And that's what I think people need to understand, that every single person has the ability to do something and say something. I've got another friend, you know, and he says so many good things. And he's a family member, right? And I said, come on my podcast. He goes, oh, no, I don't want to come on my podcast. I was like, because he's scared.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, in some respects, that's worse than someone who's ignorant, because you have all the knowledge, but you're scared. That's not cool. Do not live in fear. You know, I mean, I'm not Christian. I'm not religious. I'm not any of these things. But the Bible, I think one of the most often quoted things is, "Do not live in fear." You know, don't live in fear. Like, that's, people need to step up. All of us need to step up.
But that's part of breaking down that societal structure again, isn't it? Is that you think we've all gone through this education system. It's all got us to compete. It's all got the yes men, the people who like do as they're told, to rise quickly, and all the rest of us, we were a little bit like looking out the window daydreaming. We never got the validation that we would have, what we should deserve, like to be equally intelligent. It's just in a different way. So the thing for me is that, like, how do you get people to start feeling that it's okay for them to have a voice? And I mentioned this the other day in a post, is that everyone's got a voice, right? We've all got our own authentic, unique fucking expression of what we are. And what I see a lot of the time is people going to me in private. They're going to me, yeah, you're so right. And then I look at their Instagram feed, and all it is fucking holidays, pictures of new cars, pictures of watches, pictures of a load of bollocks, basically. So to me, it's sort of like, there to me is an element of people who are, they believe what we're talking about, but they haven't got the courage to stand up and say, yes, this is, I agree with this, and put themselves out there. And you could say it's cowardice, but I just think it's just another layer of the illusion that makes them feel like they haven't got enough self-esteem to be able to break through that. And I think it's coming, and it will come. It's just that we could do with hurrying up a little bit, guys, you know. So if in private you're sitting there pointing at the skies and talking about chemtrails, then why are you not saying that openly? It's happening. You're not an idiot. You're not a fool. How can you not talk about all the links to paedophilia that are in throughout all of the governments in the world, you know, and child trafficking and the food, big pharma? Like, I mean, we all know this is becoming fact now. So for anyone to sort of be able to, I mean, I laugh at a lot of my mates who think I'm crazy, because they've all come full circle now. Now they're all ringing me. Now they're all texting me.
Really?
Yeah, of course. They know now. It's becoming so obvious. Everyone's starting to ask the right questions. You know, it's funny, and he'll have a go at me for saying this, but I've got my younger brother. He's always been my acid test. Right? I think, like, when he starts fucking posting, it means that things are starting to move. And I noticed only the other day when I posted something about Keir Starmer's digital ID plan, and he put, no fucking way, he commented. And it's the first time he's ever commented on one of my posts. And it made me feel that, okay, all right, we're starting to get people to realise that it's no longer the tinfoil hat wearers. It's no longer the people who have been on the periphery of society, have been ostracised in society because of their alternative, you know, labelled as crazy views. It's that everyone's starting to see it now. But the thing is that what I'd say to people is, what's stopping you? If you believe that in your heart, if you can look around at the world and see it's in a really, really bad state because of the way our so-called leaders are manipulating people, if you can see that, then why don't you say it? You know, why don't you say that? Because the minute you do, you're going to feel 10 feet tall. That's the breakout there. That's when you stop giving a fuck what people think about you. And that has a real, real beautiful ripple effect on people, because everyone else starts to go, yeah, do you know what? I agree with you. I agree with that. You know, listen, and again, every situation is unique. I'm not saying that, you know, I've spent many a time at the Christmas table shouting about pedophiles, and the whole family have been like, oh, here he goes again. So it's not, you know, you have to pick your moments, you know, pick a box clever. But if you feel it in your heart that something's wrong, my question to you is, why aren't you saying it? Why do you think your voice should be unheard?
I think what you and a lot of the listeners right now are commenting on is the schooling system is a big component of it. I think it shuts you down. You know, if you get rewarded, if you're a teacher's pet and you do as you're told, you get points for that. But like you said, if you're a daydreamer, if you think differently, if you don't want to do what they're doing, you get punished for that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what the system is telling you. The system is comply and you will get rewarded. If you're a good little doctor in the system and you do as you're told and dispense the drugs, you get a great salary. Yeah. But if you're a naughty Doc Malik, we're going to make sure you're not in the system anymore.
But how does that end, though? That's the thing. Like when you're laying there on your deathbed and you know that you took the money, you took the money for silence, you kneeled down, you bent over on your deathbed. That's going to be your final thought, trust me. Your final thing is you're going to be like, oh my God, why didn't I stand up to that? Why didn't I say the things that I believed in? Why did I get paid off like a whore? They're the things that are going to reverberate around your head in your final moments. And so to me, I don't want that. I want to die in absolute dignity, going out on my shield, knowing that I've done everything I could in my power to reach people and empower them, to make them feel inspired, to make them realise what's going on.
100%. This might offend some listeners, but I even think religion's got part of the problem to it. Like, you know, you're born sinful. You're born flawed, damaged.
Guilt.
You need a savior to save us. You know, someone else, someone super being is going to save us because we are fundamentally flawed, bad, not good enough. You know, that redeemer complex, that guilt redeemer. I don't believe in that.
No.
I don't believe a God would want us to think like that.
It's the biggest psyop out there, isn't it?
Biggest psyop. Like, do you think I tell my kids, you're fucking flawed. I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but you're just not good enough. You're not good enough. You need to worship Daddy. You need to fucking tell Daddy how amazing he is. Daddy's going to save you. Because Daddy is pure love. Daddy's going to save you. And until I save you, you're just going to have to suffer because you're not good enough. How fucking fucked up is that?
That's it in a nutshell, though, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Am I not right?
No, you're right.
Do you think a God would do that?
No, I've said this so many times. Like, do you think God is like he wants division? Do you think God is preaching anything else but love? Do you think God's telling you to feel guilty, to feel fucking prejudiced, to feel suffering? No, that's not God. Anyone who's telling you any of that stuff, right, that is not God. That's the word of compromised men.
Yes.
It's not the word of God. The word of God is love. That is it. Yeah, that's all it is.
Psyop.
Psyop, mate. Big psyop. Even things I sometimes sit there and think about the fairy tales. You know, like how all of our stories and narratives, you know, based on, like, let's go back to the early sort of fairy tales where it was very basic and stuff, but they were talking about like a wolf that comes along and fucking eats the kids. And then there's Hansel and Gretel. There's like an old woman in the woods who's got this candy house, and you go in there and she locks you up in a cage. She's going to cook you and fucking eat you, and she's like nudging you to see how plump you are because she's going to eat you.
It's fucked up.
Good night, kids. Sweet dreams. Do you know what I mean? After you've been told that. Like, that just goes to show that the psyop of trying to create fear in man.
And trauma,
fear, all of that stuff that makes you just like see the world as suspicious and fret. And everyone's guilty of it. Like, we all do it. But like, as soon as you feel that, like, what are we suspicious about?
Dude, 100%. I'll give an example. That's great examples you gave. You know, when I was a kid growing up as a Muslim, God, man, my mum didn't mean it in a bad way. But like, she was like, you know, if you don't do this, if you don't, the devil. And then Urdu, Hindi, it's shaitan, Satan. So Shaitan, Satan, the Shaitan will come, the Shaitan will do this, the Shaitan, oh, you don't do this, and otherwise you're going to go to hell, and the Shaitan will burn you. Like, you're a fucking little kid. Like, literally, you're fucking 5 years old. You're like, oh, fuck, this fucking Shaitan is coming. Like, you don't need this shit. So can I tell you something? When I got my little kids, right? I was like, well, one, I'm not fucking Muslim anymore. Two, I'm not going to introduce the concept of the devil or Satan or hell. Like, not. One of my proudest moments was the fact that last year, my daughter was like, who's the devil? What's that all about? I was like, great. Like, she's reached 10 and she's like, she's just heard it from other things. And she was like, it's the first time she's fucking heard it. I was like, it's just this make-believe thing. Like, and that was it. That was it. Like the stuff that my mum told me, like, you're going to be boiling in the fire. She would tell me, she'd read out the Quran and the hell is boiling, burning hell and for eternity. Like, you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's terrifying as a kid. Like, you don't need this shit.
See, I teach my kids that there's two different sources, because I believe that. That's my belief, right? Is that when do you know, like, you've got this sort of spiritual movement, which I believe was sabotaged as well, is that, like, we're responsible for everything. It's all us. We're all part of it. The ego's all collective, and, like, the bad things that they're doing is because it's a part of you as well. I don't believe that. I believe there's two sources at play here. I believe that we've got the source which is guided and directed and fueled by love, and then I think there's the other source that they, you can call it Satan and Baal and fucking all of these names, but ultimately I think it's, and this is going to sound far out, that it's some kind of ancient alien civilization here that, I don't know, trying to control mankind in some weird replication of nature, because nature is completely so on point with absolutely everything. And I feel that story has been manipulated to create fear in people, when actually it's taken people away from the truth, whereas actually there's something here, another source. You can feel it, right? I feel that. I genuinely feel that there's like another energy here that's not mine. It's not ours,
Well, if you think about it, I was talking about this with my nephew actually over the weekend. Like, our eyes can only see a small, tiny frequency, part of the frequency of, electromagnetic spectrum. Like, even in this space right now, there's 99.99% of things that we just can't see. Yeah. We can only physically see. So like, just imagine getting some glasses on with tiny little holes and being told to look in that direction, and you think that's the entirety of the world. Yeah. And you have no idea of what else is going on in the world. Like, we're so limited. Well, we just don't know what's out there.
No. An analogy that I really liked, I can't remember who said it, it was a long time ago, was that, like, imagine our bandwidth, we're tuned into one radio station. It doesn't mean all the other fucking radio stations are not playing. It's just that we're tuned into one. So we're only be able to listen to one radio station, and all the others are still there. They're still happening. It's just we're not tuned into it.
So I don't know. I'm not like some people have been talking about space aliens and all that. I'm worried about this whole blue beam thing, and they're going to use these fake alien invasion as a pretext to get us all into one world government. So I've heard people talk about this stuff and supra whatever beings, dimensional beings, fuck all that shit. Like, I don't know any of this stuff. All I know is that I feel we're not by chance, that we have been created. Who created us or what, I have no idea. But the idea that...
Us.
Possibly. Possibly.
Yeah, might be.
I love the idea, for example, that there's this massive mainframe computer that's just running, and it gets a bit bored and it wants to experience new things. So it hives off itself into trillions of little mini computers. And each mini computer is then running its own program, and it's experiencing things now through all these trillions of mini computers. But each sub-mini computer doesn't appreciate that it's part of this bigger mainframe computer mind. It just thinks it's its own existence. Maybe each one of us is one of those little mini computers, but we're all part of a collective bigger thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Who knows? Who knows what the answer is? I don't know. But what I do know is I don't believe in a wrathful God. I just don't believe in that story tale. And as a child, I felt a lot of guilt and shame and fear in my faith. And that's one of the reasons I rejected Islam. I was like, and then I looked at all the other kind of religions, and I was like, oh, there's a common thread here in the Abrahamic religions. Feel a bit of guilt, shame, and There's a lot of control element.
And I think it's worked its way into money and materialism and the commercial enterprises, because that's become a religion, isn't it? It's that people strive to have more and more, and their God is money, their God is things and material. And I think that creates shame, because I come from a very low, impoverished background, really.
Me too.
You know? And I felt that shame, I can still feel I carry some of it with me today, you know, of being that, just not feeling that, I don't know, that feeling of wealth or abundance.
You're not good enough.
Yeah, you're not good enough. And I think that comes from that feeling of where that same psychological operation of religion has worked its way into consumerism. And it's like literally money. The more money you've got, the better you are. The more stuff you've got, the more status, the better you are. And it's all a load of bollocks.
It's all a load of bollocks.
Yeah.
And the happier you'll be.
Yeah, you think of like the churches, they're shopping malls now, aren't they? You know, or football stadiums.
Yes.
You know?
No, you're right. There's idols now everywhere.
Yeah.
But you're right. But the thing is, people need to get more self-esteem. So the question is how. Oh, by the way, I just saw a comment from Rowan. All Disney films do not have a mother figure.
Yeah. That's
interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
Yeah. And there's always a breakdown in the nuclear family. There's always a sabotage of someone key in that family setup as well. So I mean, yeah, it's so. This is the thing. I think a lot of people become overwhelmed when you look at the big picture and you're like, oh my God, it's like everywhere. It's in our media, it's in our politics, it's in our medicine, it's in our science, it's in our literature, it's in our education. You're like, oh my God, how the fuck can little old me do anything about that? Because we've got the monopoly on love, right? And that is the most powerful force in the universe. Yeah, literally the most powerful force. And if people don't know what I'm talking about, here's a little example, a little thing that you can play with. Feel something you love right now. Feel like what you love. Like I can feel my children now, and my heart wants to burst with love for them. So I know how powerful that feeling is. I've never felt anything like that. Yeah. I know that is the feeling. That is the feeling. So if everyone can start to use that as a guide to life, that feeling, then we're free. It's over. But we're too busy being locked in this self-inquiry in our minds. And you know what? Honestly, if you look at like Freud's a fucking psyop, man. Like Freud is one big psyop. He wants to sit there and talk about all of your problems and go back and revisit all those problems. I mean, how about just say no? Do you know what I mean? No, I'm actually going to turn that program off now. I want that pattern to stop running. I'm not going to focus or attend to that anymore and give it any more of my focus and attention. Instead of, I think it was another guy that they really suppressed, a guy, Adler, I think his name was. And he was sort of like in the moment, yeah? This is where you are today. In the present moment, you're here. So deal with what you've got in front of you. What do you want to change? Okay, turn it off. Not sitting there going, oh my God, I ate a packet of cookies. I think it's because, you know, what happened when my nan, she took the cookies out of my hand when I was 4 and she slapped me and told me I was a greedy little bastard. And now I feel all this stuff, and you have to go back and revisit that. What's that doing to you? You're just attending to more of the negative. What we can really do, what we've got the apparatus to do, the mechanics to do, is to really, really remap and reframe our thinking. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, little old me, how can I do anything? I'm insignificant. That's just a fucking program. You just switch that. The minute it comes up, you switch it. And the more you practice it, it's like anything. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. And all of a sudden, that voice gets quieter. And you might have guessed, you know, like I'm a man with an incredibly lively mind. Yeah, very, very lively.
Yeah.
And I've spent years trying to silence or lower the volume of Radio Danny. Yeah. And I'm telling you, the more you practice it, the easier it gets. Like, I don't have much of that shit in my life anymore. Even today, coming here, right, I'm like, oh my God, fucking flight's late. I've had a shit night's sleep. I'm fucking hungry, but I don't want to eat. And I'm sitting on the plane. There's a big geezer sitting next to me. And he's took the fucking armrest. He's got his big fucking knees sitting all over me. And I'm like,
big geezer? You're a fucking big geezer.
Yeah, I know, but bigger than me.
What?
I know.
How tall are you?
6'3".
What the fuck? How tall is this guy?
Fuck knows. Some basketball player crossed with a fucking gorilla. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck me, when's Shaq going to give me my armrest back? And then...
oh, you know, that subtle...
Yeah.
Nudge, yeah.
Whose armrest is this? I was about to call a steward or something. Listen, we got a fucking steward's inquiry here. What the fuck? Who does that belong to? You know, so... but these little things are all like eating away at me. And then I get to like I go through just a quick one. This is important, right? I go through passport control. Everyone's getting forced and pushed over to the electronic machines. And I just ignored the queue that she was pushing me to. And I just went, I'm going that way. And I walked round. It's to the all other passport signs. Queued up. I was actually quicker going through there than it was going through the machines. And when I got there was a really nice guy at the desk. And he said to me, he said, mate, you do know you've got one of the electronic passports. He said, you can just use the machines. I said, you know what, mate? I really prefer talking to a human being. He went, all right.
Great.
All right. Like that. See you later. Dunk. You know?
Nice.
And so then I've come out, I've gone into Enterprise. Yeah, Enterprise, you're getting I'm mentioning you bastards. And I picked my car up and it was like a headache as well. And then I got in the car and I'm like, I've got to come here and I'm late for the dock and da-da-da-da-da. And then I'm like, whoa, Danny, whoa, where's this going? You know, even when you opened the gate to me a minute ago, you could feel I was like tense, isn't it?
Yeah, what did I do?
Yeah, you should give me a cuddle and said, let's let the stress go, mate. Let the stress go. And that's the thing, is that any given moment in our life, we can change it. We have a choice in every fresh moment to say, do you know what? I'm going to take a breath. And this is very, very important. In fact, the most important tool that I've discovered in my life. Silence. Silence. To be able to sit there and just consciously feel who you are from the inside out. To feel your body breathing, rising, falling, and just start to feel that this is me. This is where I start. This is where I end. This is my little world right here. This is the entire universe right here. And the more you can build upon that relationship to yourself, the more the esteem builds up. The more you're not looking. I'm not looking through people. Oh, what's he saying? Oh, do I agree with that? You don't give a fuck. Like I'm actually. There's not many people I listen to. There's really not many people I pay attention to.
Good.
It's because I don't think I need to. I feel like my intuition is so strong, my discernment's so strong that I've already got the answers, which we've all got available to us. There is only but one answer, which is out there, and you just got to pull it in. But you can't be a conduit for all of that good, wonderful positivity if you're sitting there going through those same negative habits that you do all the time and you're not breaking any of them. We've got to break the chain. We have to break the chain.
Got to break the chain.
Yeah.
What are you doing after this, by the way?
What, today?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why?
Are you in a rush?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh shit! How much of a rush?
Well, I've got to. Where are we going? Where are we off to?
I wanted my kids to meet you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to pick my kids up, and I mean, I'll have them all by 3:30. It's 2:10 now. Or do you need to shoot?
Yeah, I do need to shoot.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. Do you know why? It's because I've got one evening to spend with my mum today.
Well, that's important, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not denying you mama time.
Yeah. No, because I was thinking, I thought if I get to the dock early, maybe me and him could have a little bit of steak again. But then it's just the days ran out now, and I really want to make sure I get to spend some time with my old lady.
No, you have to. That's fine. Next time. And it's just I like my kids to meet interesting people and good people and inspirational people. You know, people to look up to, and you're definitely one of them. You know, I'd love them to meet you next time. Yeah. Anyway, shout out to Marianne Walsh, my friend. She was meant to be doing a podcast with me today.
Oh yeah.
Finally getting her on the podcast, yeah. And I elbowed her out the way for you. she was like, "Can I please be there so I can hug him? I love him."
Oh, that's nice.
And when I rang her to say, by the way, I need to move you, and she was like, "What? Who is it for?" I said, "Dear Danny." She went, "I'm literally just watching him on Instagram right now." So it was actually quite funny, like how it all worked out. But yeah, good. Shout out to her because she loves you, and yeah, I elbowed her out the way to get you in.
Thank you very much.
No worries. So listen, I just want to quickly talk about something you mentioned: Sigmund Freud and Alfred Adler. I was busy typing away. I wasn't checking my emails, I promise. So this guy, Sigmund Freud, right, 1856 to 1939, one of those people. Core ideas: human behavior is driven by unconscious desires and conflicts, especially sexual and aggressive instincts. Fuck off. Yeah. Another guy was Alfred Adler, 1870 to 1937. And what's interesting is both Freud and Adler were once colleagues in the early psychoanalytic movement, but then they took very different paths, very divergent paths in their understanding of human psychology. So Alfred, his core ideas were that human behavior is motivated not by sexual instincts, but by striving for significance, superiority, and belongings. So the key concepts with Sigmund Freud was id, ego, superego, and psychosexual stages, oral and phallic, and latency. I mean, this guy's fucking sick, if you ask me. Focus past experiences, childhood trauma and unconscious drives. Therapy, uncovering repressed memories and conflicts through free association, dreams and transference. To me, that sounds like digging up the past and maybe even putting thoughts into your brain as to what might have happened to you.
And what an industry.
What an industry.
That is so much more monetizable than Adler's model.
Yeah, so Adler was about key concepts where there's inferiority complex, feeling of inadequacy drive people to compensate or overcompensate. And that's where, you know, we're talking about, you and I coming from poor backgrounds. So, you know, I was overcompensating, working hard, like a crazy person, you know, imposter syndrome, all that. I recognize where it's coming from. You know? Striving for superiority, the basic drive to improve and master life's challenges. Social interest, mental health depends on connection, cooperation, and contribution to others. And therapy is encouraging self-awareness, social responsibility, and purposeful action. Like physically actually doing something about it, not just going through the past and regurgitating the crap. Yeah. So in simple terms, Freud, past traumas, unconscious drives, sex and aggression, inner conflict.
Everyone wants to shag their mum.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
The Oedipus complex, you know?
Adler, goals, purpose, inferiority and striving, social belonging and choice. So Freud saw people as largely driven by unconscious instincts and childhood conflicts, but Adler saw people as creative, purposeful beings striving to overcome inferiority and connect socially. I'll definitely go with the Adler model.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you look at psychotherapy, I mean, how many therapists can you put your hand on your heart and say they've got integrity, and when they think that you're getting somewhere, they're going to say, do you know what? You're all right now. You don't need to come back. They're having a fucking new wing put on their house. Do you know what I mean? They're not gonna be the one to tell you that, oh, do you know what? You know, just keep coming back. Yeah, we'll work on that next week. Oh yeah, it was your uncle. Oh yeah, we'll work on that next week. And then, oh, what, your teacher? Yeah, we'll work on that next week. And it just carries on and on and on. And it's just loose ends all the time. Really, like, we have a choice every single moment. We have a choice to say, do you know what? I don't want to go through that anymore. I don't want to hear that old record playing, that old program constantly creating these self-imposed prisons of limitation. All right, that's what we do all the time. We're constantly reminding ourselves, reinforcing the negative. I can't. You say to someone, why don't you do that? Oh, I can't. You're fucked. The minute you say that.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been taught, is that we go, oh, no, it's not for me. I can't do that. And that's one of the things I feel that I become a bit of a breath of fresh air. Sorry to blow my own trumpet. But because I'm from a council estate, I'm a working class boy. But it doesn't stop me. I'll walk into any room, mate. I'll go on anyone's podcast. I will go onto any TV channel. I don't give a fuck. I've got a voice and I want it to be heard. And everyone should feel like that.
Can you bottle it and sell it? Bit of Dear Danny.
Yeah, well.
Just have a little sip of that before I go on stage.
Yeah, I mean, there is talks of doing something, you know, to be able to create some kind of, not product is the wrong word, but to be able to give material, let's say, to people that can help them reinforce the positive and reinforce their empowerment. I mean, I've got a workshop starting next Monday, which is something which is all about, you know, it's called The Inside Job, and it's literally about getting people to understand that they're in charge, they're in control. Because most people don't, that's foreign to people. It's absolutely foreign.
Yeah, amen. I mean, this is why I'm always saying, don't abdicate your power and responsibility and your health and your freedom to fucking random people. Certainly not politicians.
Yeah.
Like,
or doctors. Sorry, doc.
Dude, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Like, listen.
Heal yourself, innit?
100%. I mean, look, the book that hopefully I'm going to finish by the end of this year is all about that. It's about not having a doctor, being your own doctor, fixing yourself, like not having to rely on other people. I mean, that's the key thing.
I'm just going to give her a little plug because I think it's important. And actually, you might want to check her out. There's a lady called Oracle Girl, who's Dr. Jacqueline Hobbs. And she has got...
I think I messaged her this morning.
Oh, yeah?
No, carry on.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. She is a powerhouse. Absolute powerhouse, this lady. Yeah. Complete and utter powerhouse. And she has... She's got a very, like, sometimes it's actually quite difficult for people to understand because her language...
No, it might not be her. It might be someone else. All right, correct.
Her language is quite technical, and the way she talks about the human body and the system that we've got...
What's her name?
Oracle Girl.
Yeah, I know.
It's oraclegirl.org. And the way she talks about it is that we are actually this sort of like, it's quite mechanical to a sense, you know, that we're actually like a very, very advanced, sophisticated piece of hardware. And we have got this, what she calls it pure love absorption. So when we're able to sit in that space of silence and we're actually to feel like you can start, and this is the way I would give people the fast track into that feeling, is sit in silence and feel what you love. Yeah, feel what you love. If you love your kids or your partner or a tree or flowers or a fucking hamster, it doesn't matter. As soon as you start to feel that feeling of love, it overcomes you. And while you're sitting in silence, you can feel it. You become this real big bubble, this aura of love. And I'm telling you now, that is the medicine right there. Yeah, that is the medicine not only for you and what you're going through, it's mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, whatever. It's for everyone. The minute you walk out your door in the morning and you're in that bandwidth, you're in that setting of love. People feel it. People warm to you. People come to you. People trust you. You know, like it's the answer. And I know everyone thinks it's woo woo. You know, everyone thinks it's some crazy fucking, like they think, Danny's been taking too much mushrooms.
No. So you know what? I agree with all that. Some of your posts, like you're quite like, but you explained it. In one of your posts recently, the reason you're like that is to kind of wake people up. Can you just expand on that? Because I felt like quite a lot in common with you, because I'm quite
fiery.
I can be quite fiery. Like I have to moderate myself because you talk about Billy Connolly. I just want to quickly talk about that. I mean, really, you should be doing this, not me. But basically, I love it. There's a sketch where Billy Connolly goes, "Do you know what? There's 2 words in the English language that are just universally known. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if they don't understand English. They will understand. You're at an airport and the luggage going around the carousel, and this Nepalese guy and some saffron picks your luggage, right? And he's like, it could be a fucking monk, right? And you turn and you go, fuck off. He doesn't have a clue what you're saying, but fuck off. He knows. Like, oh. Like those 2 words convey everything you need to know. Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. And like we need to just be confident in saying that to the government or to any authority. When someone says to you, you can't travel, you can't eat this, you can't do that, you have to pay all this fucking tax, you have to get your digital ID, you have to get a jab, you have to get your kids jabbed, you have to get a flu shot, fuck off. And people say, oh, you swear too much and you're too fiery and you have a go at everybody. You and I are quite similar in that respect. But actually what's driving it is love.
Yeah.
I see that in you.
Yeah.
Can you just explain, like, why'd you talk like that?
Oh man, that's like you've hit the nail on the head. You know, like this is the thing, is the reason that I'm so fiery, and what I've got really is, I would call it like a righteous anger. You know, that my anger is just. You know, because I look around at the world and it breaks my heart, like proper breaks my heart. And I've managed to be able to create a boundary around myself where it doesn't affect me anymore. But it used to hurt me, like badly hurt me. And I think that's where I could loosely say that my spell of depression was, because I just looked at the world and I just thought, oh man, I just can't take this anymore.
Yeah.
And I want other people to feel like I feel. You know, I want them to be able to say fuck off, you know. And I find that anyone who meets me, like I'm most of the time, I mean, I tell you, like children and animals, they warm to me like that, you know, because I think they just see me as this big fluffy, you know, smiling guy. I'm very, very calm. I'm very gentle, but I know that there's almost like a different persona when I'm on video, or when I do a meme or something like that, or even when I'm out in some cunt online, you know, and I'm like in a fucking internet debate, you know. I know that there's a persona in me, which I'm like, if you met me, I would be a lot more relaxed about it. I'll be a lot more calm. But I know that the time for calmness and time for sort of people sort of keeping their heads down, that's over. We need people to put their head above the fucking parapet now, you know, and sometimes, I'll be honest, you know, like sometimes it's a difficult job. It's a big duty, because I know that there's not many people who've got my courage. I know that. Absolutely know. There's people out there. I know some very dangerous people that I grew up with, and they're tough people, but they don't have my courage.
Same. bigger people than me, taller people than me, stronger people than me. They don't have my courage.
No.
I'm fucking brave.
Yeah.
I will fight. I'm scrappy, dude. Like, let me at him. Like, seriously, that was my nickname, even as a young surgeon. People used to call me Scrappy, and I said to my boss, "Why the fuck is that? Why do they all call me Scrappy?" And he went, "Really, Ahmed? Like, you are fearless. Like, you're like." I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it. Like if, yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, time for like, oh well, we'll see, and let's create a flow chart and let's look at the problems. Nah, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. The cage is closing in, right? And people need to wake the fuck up. And this is what I mean. Like, sometimes the language I use and the way I get quite emotive is to snap people out.
Absolutely.
Like, it's to snap them up. It's like, it's that bucket of fresh water, cold water on your face.
Yeah.
It's that fish slapped on your face. Like, I needed that. Yeah. Like, I was in the Matrix. I was working like a dog. And my dad, dying, God bless his soul, on the sofa, he goes, "Son, what you doing? 10 o'clock at night, right? I got my little plate of food. I'm heating it up." You know, he goes, "What are you doing?" I went, "What do you mean? I'm having my dinner." All right. He goes, 10 o'clock at night. You just come home. You left at 6 a.m. You work 6 days a week. You look shit. You're fat. You look pasty. You're diabetic.
Well, them 2 pictures of you, you look like fucking...
Oh, you seen that picture?
Yeah, on Twitter, yeah.
Isn't it different?
Oh, my God.
That was me 10 years younger than now.
I know.
Right? And my dad saw that.
I know.
I'm like, life isn't worth this. You look shit.
Yeah.
Get yourself... That was a wet fish. I needed that. What I didn't need was my dad to sit me down and go, "All right, son, have you ever thought about doing things slightly different?" I needed him to say, "You look like shit, son. Sort yourself out. Take it from me, dying man. This ain't worth it." I lay there in bed for hours hearing those words. So I know how powerful that can be. Sometimes you need that jolt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everyone. It's not all the time. It's just sometimes. And right now, I don't see enough people speaking the way you and I are. It's all cozy. Oh, yeah, vote for reform. Trump, MAGA. And it's like, no, mate.
It's the easy way out again, isn't it?
It's the easy way out.
It's literally you're saying that one group of saviours or like self-positioned saviours over there, they're wrong, but this new saviour over there is right. So it's still looking for someone externally to take care of your problems. And I think that's, again, like, I'm happy to take responsibility for this earth. I really am. Like, if someone said to me, "Listen, you can be the leader," I'd go, "Fucking, I'll do it." You know, I'd be happy to do that because I believe what I'm saying. I believe that I have got a level of compassion. I'm incorruptible. I know that about myself, where I think a lot of people, they can't embody that because it means like having to really, really, again, go back to that, like loving yourself, to be able to feel that you have got that worth and that value in the world, that people actually feel that they want to listen to you, or people that actually feel that they understand you, or you can inspire or empower. And I feel that people are so distant, so disconnected from the God in them. Yeah, and when I talk about God, I'm not talking about any fucking man-made God. I'm talking about source. I'm talking about the light, the infinite light that we all are, that we all share. That, people are so disconnected from that. And how do they find that again? I truly feel it's through nature. It's through silence.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you're right. That inner peace, that inner reflection. And this is the problem, that we're so distracted and so bombarded with stuff, we don't have time for that silent, peaceful moment, you know. So I go running in the woods once or twice a week, and I used to have the headphones on, but then my wife said, "Oh, get these Bluetooth ones, are really good, you don't worry about the wires." I did that. Then I used to get headaches. Then I looked into the whole Wi-Fi in my Bluetooth crap, so I stopped that. Then I just carry my phone, because if I twisted my ankle, got hurt, I wanted it. I also like taking pictures of the deer when I see it. And I would have the tracking app, like my speed, and just now my phone is just on airplane mode, and I just hit just in silence, in peace, breathing, feeling, and listening, and absorbing nature, and thoughts come into my head, creation comes into my head. I go, should write a Substack post on that. Should think about this. Like maybe that's the way it is, you know. And like even this digital ID stuff. You know, it came to me on my run. I was like, it's too easy. Yeah. It's too easy. Yeah. It's like,
but those eureka moments, they come from when when you've reconnected with that, like, let's call it sort of like an unbounded wisdom that is available to us in the cosmos. It's unbounded. And once we become part of that, once we become the conduit of that light, of that, the conductor of God, of the divine, then all of that stuff, all of that information is available to us. That's why I say that I haven't read a book. Do you know what? My mum gave me a book the other day, and I'm reading it, but it's a novel, it's fiction, just because I didn't want to watch stuff on my phone on the plane or on my laptop. And I've got to say that feeling of being sort of, even reading is taking myself away from that feeling of just being me, you know. And I think people are afraid of that. They're afraid of like who they are.
Maybe that's all part of meditation and stuff like that. But I just want to quickly mention another thing. So look at this. Jesus, right?
Jesus.
Luke 17, 20, 21. The kingdom of God does not come with observation, nor will they say, see here or see there. For indeed, the kingdom of God is within you. And I'm not saying this as a Christian. I'm saying, I think he was onto something there. The kingdom of God is within you, within me, within every single person listening to this podcast. Just think about that. The kingdom of God is inside us all. And how much more clear do you need to know about that? Doesn't that? And then 1 Corinthians 3:16. Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's spirit dwells in you?
Yeah. This is the thing about religion, right? Why do we need a fucking middleman?
Ah, exactly.
Why do you need a middleman to tell you that like your connection to God? Like God, it's inherent. It's innate. It's who we are. We're a representation of that. And I think that's a lot of the time, like I've done a post recently, and in the actual text on top of the post, I said something about God, and there was a guy he replied saying, oh, you lost me with that God stuff though. It's like, dude, I'm not sitting here as a fucking Jehovah's Witness. You know, I'm talking about, you know what I mean? I think he was scared I was going to knock on his door later. I mean, I looked the part, didn't I? Let's be honest. He banged me up on a cross.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
And I just feel there is something, I don't know. There's a feeling of perhaps that people don't value themselves enough to be able to believe they could be that, you know, when we are it. And we just need to reconnect with that. So like anyone who's listening to this, like I would just say, start making a little bit of time for yourself, day in, day out, just to breathe, just to sit there and breathe. And look, I know everyone's life's different. I know everyone's like, might have kids and they've got jobs and they've got all these distractions. But at the end of the day, it's all excuses. Yeah, it's all excuses. All of us could find 5-10 minutes a day just to sit down in silence and remember who you are. And then once that happens, all of the stuff of discernment, intuition, self-esteem, self-love, self-worth, it all starts to flood in. And then you get stronger and you get more capable, you get more expressive, more animated, you get back to that primal stuff. And that's what we want. We want people to start being their unique individual self.
100%. Sandy makes a really nice comment. We are the drop in the ocean and thus the ocean itself.
That's roomy.
Our existence here is simply a fractal, a fragment of who we truly are. In the quiet, we access our fullness, our allness, all existence, and thus have access to everything. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you talk about this self-esteem thing quite a bit, and it really touches a chord with me because
it does for everyone,
mate. And this is where I'm coming to. Like, so I grew up in like immigrant house, very poor, very different, very broken in the sense mum and dad fighting, arguing, swearing, saying vile things that no child should ever see or hear, physical and just horrible, just not nice, being used as pawns by the parents.
I can imagine society as well, the social commentary about that time of immigrants and what was that. I bet that was fucking hard as well, mate.
Exactly, that was tough. You know, trust me, school, neighbours, shop, our shop got broken into, dog poo got thrown.
You had a shop?
Yeah, shoe shop.
Oh.
Shoe shop. We had a market.
It was going to be a sweet shop. I was going to say that.
Shoe shop. Malik footwear. Malik footwear. And all, you know, it's just a lot of things made me have a chip on my shoulder. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I need to be better. You know, I don't deserve what I've got. Like imposter syndrome. All that. Because I just never thought I was good enough. I was very insecure. Do you know? And I thought everyone else is so secure. And then the big realization, oh, Missy's is home early. That's nice. You get to meet my missus. And the big realization was so many people who I thought were really confident, who had it all, got the money, the big car, the looks, were fucking just as insecure as me. And I didn't get it. I'm like, hold on 1 second. I'm this short, hairy little dude. Why the fuck is this tall, handsome guy insecure about their looks? Or, you know, I'm fucking broke as shit. Why is this person with like so much money insecure? And it goes on and on and on. Everyone's almost insecure.
Everyone. People think,
It's actually shocking.
It's money, don't they? They think it's money. They think if I had that Mercedes and I had that big house, then I'd be happy. No, you wouldn't.
Or looks, or this, or that.
I spent like 15, 20 years in the film industry working closely with like A-list celebrities, like household names. They're miserable cunts. Honestly, they're miserable. They are so... They've got this aura of sort of like they're constantly thinking like people looking at me, and they're like they've got this insecurity that is like massively amplified in them. You know, so it's not just because that you see that and you think that's where you want to be, and all of a sudden all your problems are going to go. Your problems are within you. You decide how that represents itself and interacts with the world. You know,
absolutely,
we're in control.
Yep. And that's another thing then that I learned, that you know what, like you just said, the problems are within you, and you can get rid of them. So I don't care if I'm short. I don't care if I'm bald. My mum was like commenting last night. She was like, "Oh, for God's sake, your beard, you look like an old mullah now." I'm like, "An old mullah? Thanks, Mum. Just shave it off,
You've got
please."
a bit of Oliver Reed going on.
She's like, you know, my niece is getting married, and she's like, "Oh, please, at the wedding, just shave it off. You look awful." I'm like, see, this is my mum though. See, do you see why I had all the problems?
Yeah.
Part of the problems that I had.
Of course.
So even now at this age, she's like putting me down. But like, I don't blame her. It's just who she is. She doesn't mean it. But she's like saying, I'm ugly. I look like a fanatic old mullah. Literally in Urdu.
How do you confront that?
I said to her, I just said to her, look, I love you. That's your thoughts. I love my beard and I love the way I look, and I don't agree with you, and I'm not going to change who I am. And actually, frankly, this is me, and you can accept it or not. And I just laugh, and I hug her and I kiss her on the head.
How does it make you feel?
And then she shakes her head and goes like and goes like that.
How does it make you feel?
Honestly, like, it does not make me feel sad.
No,
it does not. Like years ago, it would have. Like now, I just know my mum is the way she is, and that she's slightly broken. Because if she was a loving mother, completely 100% on ball, she would never talk to her son like that.
No.
Like, I wouldn't say to my son, "Hey, son, like you look ugly and you look like a fanatic, you know, mullah. Like, you know, shave off the beard. You know, you look ridiculous." Yeah, I wouldn't talk to him like that.
No.
I mean, that's not a nice thing to say.
No.
But I know my mum loves me, but deep down she's broken.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So it's recognizing she's broken and giving her the love, rather than reacting and getting angry, which isn't going to help. And, you know, she hugs me.
Yeah.
And I think, like, that's fine. But years ago, I would have been quite upset and blah, blah. But I'm used to every single time I see her, she will say something critical. That's my mum. Well, she's not a bad person. She's just my mum.
Yeah. And if we don't deal with our demons, they bring our kids up.
Right.
You know?
So I quite like my beard, actually.
Yeah, mate, it looks good. I prefer you with a beard.
Thanks. I actually think I'm a good-looking guy. I think I'm aging like wine, fine wine.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I think compared to where I was in the past, I would take this anytime.
Absolutely.
And it's not like a selfish, egotistical, narcissistic love. It's just like finally coming home to, I'm a good guy. I'm deserving of love.
Yes.
I am a good human being, and I'm filled with love, and I want to emanate that love out now. And only if I'm feeling loved within me can I then give love to others. Like, I love you. Like, if I didn't have that love within me, I wouldn't be able to give that love out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is that it's available to everyone. That's the thing. That feeling of love, and it's not arrogance, right? It's not a feeling of overcompensating. It's just a feeling of a contentment within yourself, like of inner peace, that is available and accessible to absolutely everyone. But you have to stop doing the things that are getting in the way of that. Like, we have so many negative automated programs that are running all the time that we don't even realise it, and we distract ourselves constantly from ourselves. And if we are able just to spend a bit more time investing in that relationship with ourselves, I promise you, life will blossom before your very eyes. It really will.
100%. Can I talk? Let's just circle back to the digital ID.
I knew we were coming back to that.
Just before we end up, I just want to say, what do you think of this idea? So like, I feel like anyone who's got a store card, a loyalty card, a reward card, if you do not believe in digital IDs, dig into your wallet, dig into your handbag, take the card up and cut it up. Because look, that's the whole carrot and stick. Oh, we'll give you rewards and points, like good little children in the school. You get the point reward system for complying. Nothing is for free. What they're doing is they're tracking your shopping habits, what you're buying.
Data again, isn't it?
Data collection, data harvesting, and engineering and programming you into that compliance. You give your data, in return, you get a little pat on your hat on your head. Don't give it to them. Can you just imagine right now, you know those 2 million people who've signed up for the petition?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if 2 million of them got their scissors out and cut every single fucking loyalty card?
Or just stop paying their taxes.
Or stop paying their taxes.
2 million people stop paying their taxes. That's going to have that's going to be an atom bomb.
Dude, one day, hopefully it will come to that. But what I'm just saying is, before we even get to paying taxes,
yeah, just loyalty cards.
just fucking get rid of your loyalty cards.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. I mean, that's a big jump for a lot of people. Yeah. I'm just saying, just imagine everyone just cut their fucking loyalty cards up. You don't need it. Do you need it?
No.
Fuck that shit. It's tracking you. It's tracing you.
Yeah.
So that what I'm trying to say is there's so many steps people can take. I wrote a Substack, 160 tangible steps. Should have added the loyalty card thing. It never came to my mind. 161 now. There's so many things that we can all do. Little things. And until we do that, we're going to keep getting the same shit. We're going to keep getting the same evil people treating us the way we are treated, because we enforce it. We create this environment. We create this world. And this is why it's so important what you keep saying, why I love your posts on Instagram, and why I think you are making a difference. And yes, a lot of people will still be going back to their old, but you know what? Now and again, those seeds that you're scattering will land in fertile soil and make people think and go, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to speak up at work today. I had a guest here. Amazing. Kasia. She's a yoga instructor and everything. She's like, you know what? I was like, what website do you have? Because I want to put it in the show notes and everything. She goes, oh, I've just closed it down. I went, why? She went, oh, I didn't know it was an Israeli thing. I don't want to give them the money, so I need to find another provider. And she went, yeah, I've stopped using this and that. I don't want to feed that genocide. That's principle.
Yeah.
Right. That's ethics. That's morals. That's what I respect. And then on her feed, every day stories, she's saying, look what's going on. She's not scared to, like, what is this yoga instructor talking about Gaza? Or that's the thing. We can all do our part. We can all raise their awareness. We all have a voice. We all need to believe in ourselves. And you keep pushing that. And I love that about you. Empower yourself. Any final words?
I would just say that trying to sort of have any kind of hypothetical strategy to how you're going to combat digital ID, it just starts with no. That's it. It just starts with that feeling inside yourself that you know this is unjust. You know this is wrong. You know, that is it. It's got to start there. Don't worry about what the future holds. Don't worry about, oh, but what if and what if and what if. None of that's even there yet. It's just starting off to something you believe in, that your values, your principles know deep down in your heart that this is wrong. And that's it. Start with that.
And today it's brick card. Tomorrow it will come under another new name.
Yeah.
Whatever guise or reinvention it comes in, just say no to it. And especially if it is coming with the psyop. Do you know what I mean? Like this time it was a dummy run. Next time it'll be some psyop, some, real, I know when it's genuine because your emotions are up.
Yeah.
You're angry.
Yeah.
You're really frustrated. You're fearful. When your emotions are really ramped up by the media, by the politicians or whatever, that's a psyop.
Yeah. Once you're emotionally invested, they got you.
Critically thinking is dead.
But that's the thing again, isn't it? It's just going back to that. Is if you see something and you're like, go and sit in silence. Go and let it come through you. Let it fall through you and realise then, does it really matter to you today? Does it really matter? Does it have to affect your day? Does it have to dictate and define the way that your life's going because of a fucking headline, which most of the time has been manipulated?
Yep. Every day is a psyop.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk. Like, dude, you can't. Every day something comes up even more crazy, and you're just like,
such an anomaly, isn't it?
Switch off. Just switch off. Turn off. You know, it's the best way. Yeah. Right, listen. Final question of the day. Surrounded by your loved ones, beautiful family. You're about to meet your maker, whatever. What words of wisdom are you going to give them?
Remember you are.
Who are you?
A divine representation of God.
Beautiful. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I, Ahmed Malik, am a private civilian protected by the Geneva Convention. My Substack, social media posts and podcasts are my personal experiences, observations and opinions. This information is for educational purposes only. Although I am a doctor, I am not your doctor, and I am not providing medical or legal advice to you or to the wider public. I am not licensed or registered with the GMC or any other licensing board. The responsibility for the interpretation, due diligence and use of the information from my Substack and my podcast lies with you, the viewer and or listener. Please do your research and use your discernment. It is not my intention to harass, intimidate, offend, defame, conspire, blackmail, coerce, or cause anxiety, alarm, or distress to any man or woman, and the information presented here is done so with peaceful and honourable intentions. Enjoy, folks.